I was born back east in Detroit, Michigan. A lot of times stories start like that because they're kind of interesting, right? I didn't grow up back east. I grew up in California. And of all places, I grew up in Fresno, California. I lived there until I finished undergrad at Fresno State and came out to the Bay Area with my first real big cool guy job, which I did not like at all. I worked as a deputy sheriff with the Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department for 12 years, 8 months to be exact. And during that time, my writing really developed. It was more or less a safe haven because I didn't enjoy my job, and it allowed me to deal with a lot of the issues that I suffered from throughout childhood. Some of you out there might have a bit of an understanding, and what that means is if some of you have grown up in foster care or have an understanding of kinship care, social services, so forth and so on, well, we have a lot in common, a great deal in common. I backtrack and say that because these are some of the issues that I suffered from and still suffer from as an adult. That's why writing is truly therapeutic for me. Allow me to explain this. I've never met my biological mother, and of course, I'm a grown man. Well into being a grown man. And oftentimes, when one hasn't felt that maternal love, so to speak, they are depleted of a lot. And how does one deal with that? A lot of people deal with it in so many different ways. Fortunately enough, I am able to deal with that through writing. Also, as I mentioned before in regards to foster care, I lived with my biological father until I was 13, and I was taken away from him by the state of California and declared a ward of the state. Thus, social services became my legal guardians, and I lived in 4 different foster homes until I graduated from high school. Fortunately enough, writing started for me then. Poetry was extremely influential in my life simply because it was euphoric. It was short, it was sweet oftentimes, a few sentences, and I can express myself pretty direct. As I got older, the writing became more in depth. My freshman year in college, a friend of mine who was my English tutor, she gave me my first journal, and that completely changed my life. I used that journal to express my deepest and darkest secrets. As I got older and those pages began to fill up, I found out that not only did I have some serious stories to tell, but I had some abilities, and not just the ability to create thought, put it on paper, and allow someone else to read it and understand it, but the ability to actually inspire. So understanding my ability to actually inspire others changed a lot for me. Changed me in a fashion where oftentimes I would revert back to my upbringing. That upbringing being from my biological father. And of course, his behaviors were more or less that of a person who taught me the game, so to speak. And when I say game, some of you out there might understand me, and I'm talking about a lifestyle where persons engage in criminal behavior so as to survive. Well, writing took me away from that. Writing kept me off the block. Writing kept me from engaging in behaviors where I would not just, bring harm to someone else, but myself. Fortunately enough, that writing helped me academically. I was able to actually go on to Fresno State. I was able to go on to college. And for me, that was a blessing and then some. I still get a little taken aback by that today. And wow, writing saved me. I'm a writer in so many different ways. Currently, I've been writing for the Los Angeles Sentinel newspaper for the past 4 years. I have a weekly column, and it's inspirational based, which I like to think of myself as an inspirational writer. The majority of my poems are inspiring. The majority of my articles are inspiring. And of course, from a nonfiction perspective, definitely inspiring. About 8 years ago, I wrote my first book, and lo and behold, it got published. Cloud 9. Mary B Morrison. Some of you might know her. She is a powerful writer. She writes fiction, and gosh, I was blessed to be introduced to her at a writing seminar in Oakland. And lo and behold, at that very seminar, she offered me publishing for my first book, Noesis, Noesis. And not to get sidetracked, but Noesis means comprehension and understanding. I view that as the power of applied thought, which you should definitely take into the back of your mind. It's an amazing word, Greek in origin, but it's an English word. Now, back to Mary B. Morrison. She helped me tremendously. And again, earlier I was talking about learning yourself and understanding yourself within writing. She definitely allowed me to understand myself, because when I graduated from college, can you believe it, I'm a college grad, I got that first big job, as I was stating earlier, and I didn't like it, you know? I didn't enjoy it. There are a lot of persons out there who might, involve themselves in law enforcement, but for me, it was kind of stifling, I don't have a strong mentality that's conducive for law enforcement, even though I was good at it, I became a gang investigator, and I worked with all local, state, and federal agencies and did very well at my job because I take pride in what I do. But over the years, it was not conducive to me being who I am today. I'm blessed, truly, and that's because of writing. Mary B. Morrison helped me with that. When she helped me get published, I took those thoughts and ran with them. And even though I've been speaking, often, quite often actually, now I had a book to take to those speaking engagements. I would speak at independent living skill graduation, if it had anything to do with foster care, if it had anything to do with disadvantaged youth, if it had anything to do with persons dealing with issues and problems that I've had some experiences with, hence not meeting my biological mother, my biological father, his behaviors, and being taken away from him. Wow. I was there, I was speaking, and now I had a book. And within that first book, there were 7 poems. And believe it or not, there were often times when writing itself would be so difficult for me because it brings out so many emotions that the poetry was the euphoric aspect of the writing. It was truly euphoric because you can sit there and be within thought and get caught up and honestly be at it for hours. And lo and behold, certain thoughts hit you with a rhythmic tone. And next thing you know, time is passing, and hey, you have a smile on your face. You've gotten through those emotions, and in my opinion, you're better because of it. So I have with me my first published book of poems, and I'm extremely excited about this. The title is Poetic Thoughts of Inspiration. And of course, I like to think of myself inspirational based in all of my writing. Yet within this poetry thing, if the poem doesn't inspire you, then I haven't done my job. So, I have a piece that I would like to consider my signature piece, and I'd like to read it to you. tell you how important this is. The title is, Are You What, Who You Think You Are? I want you to contemplate that for just a moment. Are you what, who you think you are? Don't be afraid to think. I am not what you think, but exactly what you see. However, what you see may not be mentally conceived, thus allowing your vision a deprived reality. My physique has allowed me joy in the physical manifestation of an athletically gifted toy, a complete contradiction of my youth, running numbers for my grandfather, manufacturing illegal substances for my biological father. I function well under psychological dispute, yet only because my workouts provide me refuge. While some daydream, I open my eyes and scream, only to recognize myself as naive, another visible flaw unseen by those who view me only physically. I am not what you think, yet exactly what you see. However, what you see is the key to my inner being. So judge me how you see fit, yet understand that respectfully your opinion doesn't mean spit. Good or bad, man tends to hate one another like a timely fad. We live in reality, not a wishful mind state. So praise me not for these natural abs, but the time it took to receive a second glance, a prideful look. You see, sit-ups help me write hooks. I am not what you think, yet exactly what you see. A black man of African descent who stands on integrity. Now tomorrow will allow my thoughts to articulate themselves into forms of sweat that drip from my chin in between sets of physical stress, because they create words that my poems express, making way for this question that is meant to test. Are you what you think? And even more so, what you see? Well, maybe, yet only if that opinion was formulated by the higher power within thee. So thank you, God, for the gift to script thought to pages, our power, noesis. That piece that I just recited to you, it is extremely powerful for me. So powerful that I've done something that I would have never have thought to do in a million years, maybe. Yet the first stanza of that piece is so profound to me. I actually put that on my arm, and if you could see, I actually have it written across my forearm here. I am not what you think, yet exactly what you see. However, what you see may not be mentally conceived, thus allowing your vision a deprived reality. Very powerful for me. My parents, my friends think it's weird a little bit, but it keeps me sane, keeps me happy, and it's definitely something that I know will inspire you if you invest a little bit of thought into it. A lot of times in life we suffer from vices, and if you have an understanding of what they are, you can combat them in a positive fashion. And what I'd like to think is that I combat a lot of the negative ails of this world with my writing. And because it's so close to me, when I have those moments where I'm having some issues or whatnot, it's right here. It's always with me. It's always helping me. Okay. This next piece that I'm going to recite to you is titled, What is Poetry? Now, the reason I've written this poem, and of course, this segment in the company of poets, I honestly believe that this is truly appropriate for this program. A lot of people don't understand what poetry is. And in my opinion, this poem explains just that. What is poetry? Different to me than what the world sees. Different to you than my point of view. Hidden in words are secrets to puzzles with no shape. Should I write about love or dwell within hate? A poem to me is truly liberating. Its cost is not monetary, just the price of thought. You determine the fee. I believe poetry is free. Exploring my mind and resting in areas that are sublime until I open my third eye and write. As poetry moves across my tongue, my mood changes, and we are one. I am my thoughts. I am the ink that adorns the lines which guides my path, the discipline to remain focused, leaving an emotional draft. So as to celebrate poetry, as I discover the next word within me, what is poetry? The truest extension of one's own belief. I am a poem discovering me, different from what you may see, yet the truest, most significant portion of thought that extends from the very core of me. I live so as to resolve the issues around me. I live as a poem. I am poetry. So live free, free within your own thoughts, free from negativity. Poetry is what you make it. And after a period of life has passed, your personal rhythm is what decisions you have made along a poetic path. That, my friends, is poetry. Okay, since we're still on the topic of poetry, which has me excited, definitely wakes me up every day. This is kind of fun in a sense, but a little odd. Like I told you before, oftentimes when you dwell within thoughts so much, these thoughts can overcome you. And I want you to take into consideration these thoughts and where they come from. For example, I'm writing, I enjoy writing, all genres of writing, yet now we're discussing poetry, right? So it extends from the mind, you feel it within the body because it's kind of overwhelming, it's euphoric, and it's a release when you actually write. So this poem is called Plastic Vein. And I actually have a favorite pen that I use. And this pen came to mind when I wrote this poem. Plastic vein. I have a plastic vein. It extends from my right hand, yet manifests within my brain. Noesis is her name. She loves me without shame. With a constant flow, my pain is filtered through this vein, spilling tears of black ink, smearing emotion across pages that when empty seem bleak. The most magnificent piece of plastic you have never seen. It possesses the power of thought. That is what noesis means. I caress her with my index finger, my middle finger, and my thumb. She controls me until we become one. I am a writer, a wordsmith, a poet, an author, a heartfelt lover of tones that formulate meaning. Through this vein, blank paper conceives. The present represents tomorrow, while tomorrow is a reflection of today. So as not to allow noesis to slip away, I live to pleasure another page, delivered from my plastic vein. If you suppress thought, you can only evoke pain, which recycles itself, eludes the possibility of a positive, mature, healthy gain. Have you discovered yours? I believe everyone has a plastic vein. You know, this next piece, you know what, I'll read it for you, and then maybe you can have a better understanding of what I'm trying to get at. And remember, I like to consider myself more of a, motivational, inspirational poet, writer, heartfelt lover of tones that are written across blank pages, right? Okay, this is titled, I Write About It. I want you to think about that. My eyes open after hours of non-sleep. In my mind, I cannot remove the grief. My heart still has motion, but its rhythm is offbeat. The most forgiving self I am not complete. And the others to whom I may not speak, I must forgive, is within me. So I write about it. Whether it be the stroke of my pen or the tap of a key, now I have an outlet to manage the rage within me. I write about it. Disappointment combined with anger, apprehension united with confusion. The relief I experience while I write can only compare to a transfusion. You'll be amazed how merging words can manage stress. Don't be skeptical. Become an optimist. So in an instance, when you've clenched your fist, ready to hit suffering, an emotional, mental fit, take a deep breath and write about it. When you have not conceded to one tear and you think you have forgotten how to love, don't dwell within fear. Write about it. So there can be times when you wake up in the morning and when you open your eyes, you are thinking about that special person. Doesn't go away. There could be times when you wake up and you're just upset, you're angry, and for whatever reasons you got to shake that mood because you got to wake up and you got to go to work and you got to deal with this life thing, right? Sometimes you can wake up just smiling, happy as can be, and not even know why. And wake up some days and be sad and not know why. These are emotions. We are human beings and we are social creatures. So oftentimes we have to deal with these emotions. I say, good, bad, happy, or sad, you take that pen and you write about it. Recognize love. Understand your responsibility and try not to squander the opportunity. You have prayed, and now life has offered you true accountability. The mental, physical, and emotional pleasure you will share can become endless if you submit to fidelity, not despair. Whether monogamy is natural or inept, you can choose and then accept. Stimulation will fade, yet agape love you can create. Be aware of your own deceit, the subconscious mind that manipulates internal speech. The significance is fornication, not significance, yet a sacrifice. You be the judge. The price, egotistical gratification. Recognize self and the power of supplication. Pretty powerful, huh? Maybe? A little bit? Earlier in the segment, I mentioned that I had never met my biological mother. Yet, I recognize the love of many different women who helped me raise me. My first foster mother, her name is Linda Reeves. I recognize her love every chance I get, not just Mother's Day. My mother, last foster care placement, Dana Darling. Again, I recognize her love every chance I get. I spoke to her this morning, told her I was coming here to tape this. And oddly enough, there's a woman, her name is Nancy Cisneros. She's actually the judge that handled the custody case that gave my parents legal custody of me. And that's my last foster care placement. And I recognize her love and accept her love. So, I got another piece to read for you. And the name of this piece is Try, Try Again. Have any one of you ever in your lifetime had someone to tell you to keep trying? Try, try again, just to keep trying. It'll eventually pay off. And that's true, right? Well, I wrote a poem with that title distinct in mind. Yet, let me tell you how powerful those words are. Simple words, just to keep trying. Try, try again. Earlier, I told you that, I didn't know I was actually going to graduate from high school. And I did. Powerful, right? I went on to college, and I was fortunate to obtain an athletic scholarship. Yet, I couldn't go to the college of choice right out of high school because my grades were horrible. Try, try again. I went to a junior college. I finished in 2 years, obtained an AA degree. Cloud 9, right? Yet, I didn't stop there. I went on to State College and earned a bachelor's degree. I went on and I got my master's degree. And the crazy thing about that is that level of focus, that try, try again focus, I got a 4.0 in my master's program. I finished 4.0 with a master's in psychology. And it doesn't stop. Next month, I actually start my doctoral program. And trust me, I've worked seriously hard to get into this program. And that 4.0 I was telling you about, which I never in a million years thought I'd be so academically inclined to be focused and to obtain a high GPA, that earned me an academic scholarship. In some years to come, it's probably going to take me about 4 years to get this doctorate, I will have my doctorate in clinical forensic psychology. Try, try again. I once had more confidence. Free of arrogance, my intelligence allowed me great prominence. I felt as if there was no obstacle strong enough to detour my path. I lost track, and lately, I have taken several steps back. To regain my poise, I meditate and recall moments of joy. Where is my bliss? Why do I seal assurance inside shallow material gifts? My desire has changed. No longer is the deed to my home my life's claim. I seek education, and within time, I no longer feel shame. Self-belief is still within me. I have not lost my confidence. It was asleep, dormant, dreary. Disappointment can block the positive growth within. So in life, if you want to win, you must try again. If you've gotten anything from me during this episode, please allow yourself some inspiration. It doesn't always have to come from someone else. It can come from within. If you have to sit back for a moment and take a couple deep breaths, close your eyes and recognize yourself for who you truly are, if that helps you, just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying again. That being said, my name is Alfonzo Tucker, and I am a poet.